I'm Jolyon Laycock. Afon Hafren is a portrait of the River Severn in words, music and pictures. The project has been many years in the making. I wrote the poem in April 1999. It takes the form of 43 quatrains of rhyming iambic pentameter, charting the course of the river in place names from source to sea. Nearly all the pictures were taken on a series of field trips to sections of the River Severn over a number of years between 1990 and 2003. They included several early morning trips on successive Good Fridays to observe the Severn Boar at Newnham and Epney, one of the most memorable phenomena of English nature. Most of the pictures are original, but a small number came from internet sources when I needed to fill gaps in my own sequence. These are acknowledged appropriately in the closing credits. River systems embody the fractal principle in nature. A central channel is fed by many tributaries, which are themselves mini river systems, fed by their own streams and rivulets. I made several false starts at creating a musical accompaniment that would exemplify this fractal principle, but the project remained unfinished for 17 years. Then, towards the end of 2019, I discovered a new compositional process that made it possible to create a soundtrack that could stand as a musical analogy for the accumulative growth of a river from source to sea. I am very much aware that the River Severn has been subject to exceptionally severe flooding during the last 2 years, and that this has caused great suffering and lasting hardship to many people. I therefore dedicate this video in sympathy to all those whose homes and livelihoods have been so badly affected. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the video. From womb of hills is Hafren born, so weak, from pool in marshy plain above Frith Fawr, below Plinlimmon's barren towering peak. She falls through Ricket Coombe beneath Bryn Mawr, to foam and plunge through narrow banks within the forest dark below Mynyddig Groes, between Mynhinnon and Bryn Blaen y Gwyn towards the settlement of Llanidloes. She meets, by Bryn y Fan and Foel Fawr, with Doulos and Clywedog, sister streams in confluence. In Vale of Coed Mawr, in spring with salmon fry the river teems. Through Coombe Lewyddion she passes slow, from Llandinam to Caersus. She glides where Afon Carno waters swell the flow. Meandering in valleys green, she slides through tangled banks of Bryn y Pentre Wood, past Glandulais to reach Drenewydd town. She twists and turns where ancient trees have stood by Abermule and Aberbechen, down to Trwst Llewellyn. How the waters leap as Aberrew's tumult tumbles in, or more sedately Camlad currents creep to join at Castle Mound by Mynyddig. In winter through Kilcowydd, torrents bring these silted banks to Welshpool's valley broad, just where Coombe Dingle climbs to Beacon Ring to reach Long Mountain and the ancient road. A sluggish, snaking course the boatman steers between Pool Quay, Hamewood and Melville. Then rounding Brython Forest, eastward veers, where Severn joins with Afon Hafren. Her way through fertile fields, by sacred shrine of Alderbury she wends. With casual grace by Ayton Gorse and pool of Shrawbadine she glides to Montford, ancient crossing place. By Bickley Coppice, River Perry greets her. Under Leaton Shelf she follows strange, erratic giant curves and almost meets her later looping self at Isle Grange. She forms by Frankwell and by Gravel Hill encircling moat for Shrewsbury's Castle Mound, and then from Uffington meanders still in languid curves towards the brook at Cound. Near Attington and Berwick Grove the fields are stocked with cherry trees, till River Tern at Viraconium its tribute yields, but soon with trade she must her living earn. She takes her time past Wroxeter and Ayton, and at Cressidge, curving close, the ridge of Wenlock Edge she skirts, to drift through Leighton and through Buldwas, down to Ironbridge and Coalport. There she turns towards the south by Apley Park, through straight and funnelled gorge above Bridge North her currents surge, the mouth of River Moor to pass at Lower Forge. At Hampton Lode, in spite of winter rains, the ferries cross, while cattle crop the turf in Highley Meadows green, where Ball Brook drains the lofty wooded slopes of Abden Berth. From Upper Arley, under dappled shade of Hawkbatch Valley, at the edge of Wyre Forest, passing Seckley's leafy glade, there let her quench the raging summer fire. Through the Dowls at Bewdley, strongly past the Devil's Spittleful she sweeps, until, by gravel pits at Riversford, at last she reaches Stourport and Stagborough Hill. And from the mouth of gentle River Stour, where the cargo boats in safety dock, see how the swelling Severn gathers power by the Waishes and the Redstone Rock. In Shrawley Wood, in sandy pools beneath the trees, for spawning tadpoles children look, and badgers nightly scrap upon the heath at Holt, from Ombersley to Grimley Brook. From Hawford, where the Sulwop River winds, past Hallow Heath and stranded Bevy Isle, a straighter course by Rainbow Hill she finds, to march through Worcester's broad, majestic mile. Now meeting tortured course of River Team, from Kempsey, Callow End and Lower Hams, from Draycott banks she slinks as ripples gleam, past grazing ewes and springtime leaping lambs. At Rith and Clevelode hear the foxes bark. From sheltered lee of cliffy wood, the croak of pheasants you can hear in Hanley Park. Or watch the heron wade at Severn Stoke, where alder gaps and glimpse of Malvern Ridge and Upper Witch reveal. From here the road through Upton crosses ancient Ryle Bridge, above the gentle sweep to Saxon Lode. Now, dropping down the reach through Uckinghall towards Shertonner Common and the Mythe, you see how rank and tall the reeds which fall at Severn Ham to wetted summer scythe. At Tewkesbury, views of Beacon Downs, Chase End and Hangman's Hill recede, and further south, by Upper and by Lower Lode, the bend hides preening swans at Stratford Avon's mouth. Tangled banks, your course is broad and deep, by Chasely Stock and Deerhurst, where the roar of legendary serpents shook their sleep. Past Apperley and Turley and the Hoare, then Hasfield Ham and Wainload Hill, by Quay at Ashleworth to moor. From Longridge End and Sandhurst, sprinting down Longreach, must she divide in two round Maysmore Ham to wend. Below Pool Meadow, Olney Island and commercial sprawl of Gloucester docks, you see the glint of tidal mud, a narrow band at water's edge by ruined Llanthony. At Lower Parting, single course is found again. By Moorcroft and by River's Mead, the level ham of Minsterworth you round, past Stone Bench as the river gathers speed, by Elmore, Hartland's Hill and Lower Lee. The flow is deep from Water End and Bollow. Longme Crib, a widening estuary becomes by Upper Framilode, to follow where the Dumballs, Garden Cliff and Strand surround the Arlingham Peninsula, and shipping channels skirt the shallow sand of Pimlico. A view spectacular unfolds for those who climb to Mallard's Pike, of Severn's snaking course through Berkeley Vale. So wide, it takes an hour some boat, just like a tiny speck, between the shores to sail, by Blakeney Mud and Lydney, past the sands of Frampton, Waveridge and Saniger to Sharpness. Though in centre stream it stands exposed, the Hayward Rock cannot deter the boatman. Here the ledges, Gnarlwood Rock, the shoals of Shepherdine and Oldbury, High Heron and the Cloudsmoor Rocks all block his way at lowest tide. Towards the sea, down Slime Road, past World's End, through Narrow Neck at Orst and Leary Rock, there must he wrench the helm at Hen and Chickens, risking wreck upon Great Ulverstone or Upper Bench. Between the Mathern and the Northwick Ouse, past mouth of Wye and Avon, more immense by Portishead she grows, and no one knows where river ends and ocean waves commence. But full moon drags a rising tidal surge through Lydney banks, through marsh with greylag goose and glistening ooze, where sea and river merge, through Wellhouse Bay, across the flooding noose, invading ocean swell assails the wharf at Slimbridge. Urgent stubborn forces grab the river's seaward drift and thrust it north again by Northington and Portland's Nab. In Newnham's funnelled channel, to a froth, the unsuspecting peaceful flow is churned. In evening sun, the spume of water's wrath to spectral rainbow colours now is turned. In fullest spate of mounting waves, the boar pursues, with threshing hooves like bolting horse, with tossing tangled mane, along the shore by Framelode, its unrelenting course. Advancing in unbreaking tidal wall, a strangely silent slope between the ham of Minsterworth and Elmore Back, where all this water nature now contrives to cram within converging banks, till all its power is spent, it surges on, to swamp at last the fields with brackish floods. For half an hour the river holds her breath. Then, like some vast, gigantic sigh, as if her heart would burst with grief, reluctantly she lets it go, and slowly, imperceptibly at first, the ebbing tide restores her seaward flow.